thank you very much for the invitation. We already before saw that there were changes in Germany due to Fukushima, and also Siemens took a very decisive step out of nuclear, or to be more specific, a decisive step of not re-entering nuclear. And I guess this is one of the reasons why we were invited, not only because I am a relatively greenish person, as I will show you later, and I hope also a relatively peaceful person. So, whoops, this was the wrong one. No, it's maybe this one. Yes. Sustainability. So this is our founder, and this is what he said. He said it in German, of course, at the time. But I think this is the very core of sustainability, that you don't sell your future for short-term profit. And if we would have more of these, we wouldn't be there in the discussion which we are enjoying now in the whole Euro region. So, if you exist for more than 160 years, then you also have to have a few ideas, and I just want to mention two. One is the electric streetcar, and also here in Budapest, already in 1887, there was the first electric streetcar coming from Siemens. Also the Kisföldalatti, 1896, which was the first on the continent, the second in the world. And closer to your topic here is 2000, the wind turbine rotor blades in one cast. This is a company which we bought. And this is why Siemens is today leader in offshore wind. So our values have, of course, changed, but not too much. I think they were always, I mean, they were, now they're in English. I don't think they were in English at the time. And that's what we say. We're responsible, excellent, and innovative. And I would like to give you a few examples. This was too quick. Here we go. About 10 years ago, Siemens looked at the so-called megatrends. What will the future look like, and how do we have to react? What should we change so that we can be a partner for answers, to answer the challenges of the future? And 4 of these megatrends were defined as relevant to our company. And I will start from the bottom. So globalization, of course, being an international company, even now after divestments with 360,000 people being present in 190 countries worldwide, among others with more than 2,000 here in Hungary. So globalization is clearly a trend. Climate change, we will talk about CO2 reduction. Demographic change, more and more people grow older, and they have some requirements, be this hearing aids, which we also manufacture, and where my wife thinks I will need one soon, or be it other diagnostic equipment. And urbanization. Urbanization, we know we have more than 7 billion people already on Earth. When I went to school, it was 3.5. And the past billion only came about in the past 12 years. That's how old well, it's not only mine, also my wife has a part in it, our younger son is. So this is why we also have orientated ourselves in a way that we have created a sector which is called infrastructure in cities, addressing exactly these issues. I think this is what I already said here, more or less. Yeah. Maybe we can skip this slide because it says something similar, but of course in a better way. That's why it's on the slide. So I would like to go to our core, which is sustainability. And here I would like to take the remark of one of my colleagues. Green is not black and white. It is really complex because it's integrated. And I will show you two aspects of this. Here we have one. It has something about value orientation. It is definitely about responsibility for the climate and the environment, and, of course, also the responsibility for our people. And interweaving that makes it so complex. Before we heard, if you have the one subsidy which does this and which one, it is really very difficult. So we don't have all the answers, but we have some of them, and those we offer to our customers. What we do is, and not only globally, also here in Hungary, we do walk the talk. So one is, we have to take the initiatives, we take that, turn it into specific business opportunities. If you have a company with 360,000 employees, you have to feed them, and they're being fed by contracts from the customers. And we, as Siemens, take the green portfolio very seriously. Already now, it is around 30% of our turnover. And there is a clear path by our CEO that this is to increase. And now with the recent changes, there is even more emphasis on this. We are committed to embedding sustainability throughout our organizations and operations. I will show you an example from here in Budapest. And we work together with all relevant interest groups, hopefully. Thank you very much, otherwise I wouldn't have been invited. Here you can see our so-called green portfolio. And the green portfolio, I would like to make 3 comments. The first one is just a repetition, that the green portfolio is vital to Siemens because of its size and its importance. The second one is an interesting coincidence. Most of the engineers who go out and install and commission offshore wind turbines in the world are based in Budapest. True. We have more than 70 people doing this, and they literally go from Australia to Canada. And you would think, do you have these people who install and commission offshore wind turbines? Why are they based in Budapest, where offshore is not so close? And we're not waiting for climate change to bring the ocean very close to Budapest. This is, you could say, this is a strategic decision, or it is the result of a few nice and good coincidences in the past. But I'm very proud that we have these, it's mainly gentlemen, yeah, who do this job in very lofty heights, 130 meters above literally sea level in that case, yeah. That also, the number of these colleagues is expanding due to the very definitely expanding wind turbine business which we have. And then green. Green has many aspects, but one way how we could also put it into a logical order is green is green generation, which is definitely an emphasis of this conference, but it is also about green transmission, and it is about, well, if you so wish, green consumption, which means to reduce it. And how can you reduce it is by bringing in intelligence into the whole thing. But I would first start with generation. If you have here fossil power generation, you will say, fossil power generation, why is that part of the green portfolio? I will give you a very specific example from Hungary now. In summer, we handed over to our customer, E.ON, a turnkey fossil power plant. Its efficiency is 59 point some %. the average of fossil power plants in Hungary, average, is 33%. So let's be a little sloppy and call it 30 and 60. Now, if you have a reduction, or let's take it from the bottom up, you can save 100% from bottom up or from top down, it's only 50. But that is a massive saving. And this is why it's green. There's another reason why it is in our green portfolio is because, and we have seen all of these curves here, how alternative energy comes in when there is wind, when there is solar power, and if there is none, something should replace it, at least to a specific extent, according to demand. And this is why gas turbines are very useful, because they can start up relatively quickly, and you can go down, and also you can have something in between where they can be in just 75% usage or so. And this is why, as interestingly as it sounds, gas turbines and fossil power generation is a logical partner for our wind turbines, which we also have. So then power transmission, power distribution is another important issue. And here again, because I'm the CEO of Hungary, I like to mention that we have here our transformer works, where we manufacture distribution transformers, and we are the competence center to develop the low-loss transformer, where we're using amorphous metal, which is, yes, it looks very different, feels very different, and I should have a lot of better properties. This means that transformers will use less energy, especially when they're not in use, then the load power goes down very much. So, and this is being developed here in Budapest, and we already have a prototype for that. And then low consumption. Our sister Osram, and we all know that you can save 80 to 90% of energy if you have energy efficient lighting. So here you can see you're already here in the energy efficiency, but if you take these energy efficient light bulbs, then we can still take 50% lower, which is an absolute not so much, because if you take from 100, minus 80 makes 20, but you can, with LED, even go down to 10 watts to reach 100 watt of original lighting. The 10 watts are not reached yet, but this is why we go into LED, because there is still a lot of room for improvement. Last but not least, building technology. We know that most of the heat which is used and consumed is clearly for buildings, because we all don't like to freeze. Now, if we can use this energy very efficiently, and also the generation, like I just had the gas kazan, the boiler, not the boiler, whatever is gas kazan. Well, it's the heating unit. I just had that changed because it was inefficient, highly inefficient. So we have new modern technology, not by Siemens, but combined with Siemens building automation, which then gives you, allows you to regulate the amount of energy, in this case gas, which is being consumed, and how it is being felt to optimize that. So, if we go on, we also measure carbon dioxide reduction. And we have these independent audits on environmental portfolio where all of these things are being measured. So we also not only try to be responsible, but I think we give the transparency to show what we're doing. And these numbers are not just numbers which we have invented. The methodology and the data is independently verified by auditors. So what we do have is we have a CO2 audit on the products and the solutions which we're selling, of course, to our customers. And here you can see in 2009 this was 214 million tons, 267 and 300 million tons. What is 300 million tons of CO2? So nobody would know, neither me, of course, but in order to make it more transparent, 300 million tons is the equivalent of the emissions of these 8 major or very big cities. This is the amount of CO2 which is saved, let's put it that way, or put it the other way. If we wouldn't be using modern technology, this efficient one, as I just mentioned, be this now building technologies or being this fossil, highly efficient fossil power generation, then we would have 300 million tons. Our customers would generate 300 million tons more of CO2. And we all know how important it is, not only because of carbon credits, but it is just something for the environment. And here you can see the 2011 numbers are estimate. I think quite sure if we estimate it this way, it will be far more. So here you can see the proper term is abatement. Our products help our customers to improve their efficiency and performance. Similar story, energy generation, transmission, industrial applications, and end use. So what I left out is the industrial application where, of course, Siemens is very well presented. And there, as with many things, due to modern technology, you just use less because we're increasingly efficient. Green solution for cities. I already mentioned that we have this city sector. In this context, some of you might have heard that Siemens initiated the so-called Green City Index a few years ago. I heard now that in 2012 there will be a new review. So this was not done by Siemens because, first of all, we don't have the capacity, and secondly, then most people wouldn't believe us. So this is why this was done mainly by the Economist Intelligence Unit. And in this Green City Index for Europe, that was the first one, and there are other indices like that as well, all being initiated and co-sponsored by Siemens. But the first one was Europe, and let's talk about Europe because we are in Europe now. So what they did is they took the 30 most important cities in Europe, so capitals of the countries, and looked at them according to, I believe it was 8 criteria, and eight categories, and within each category, I think there were 4 criteria. To make the long story short, there are 30 cities, and the best one was, of course, Copenhagen. And the last one, I shouldn't mention here maybe, but it is from a country further to the east from here. And Budapest finished 17th. By the way, if you go and Google or Bing European Green City Index, this is all publicly available data. Budapest is 17th, which I think is a good position because it is more or less in the middle. Only Warsaw is ahead of it, being 16th. And all the others are either Western European cities, which of course, due to the development of infrastructure, already have a better, that I call now carbon footprint. There is, and so the 17th is an average. Just as an example, Budapest is 10th, so quite good in public transportation, but 25th in energy efficiency. So this is something where there is room for improvement, and this is why I like the position of Budapest very much, because if it were the last one, it would not be so attractive, and if it were number 1 or number 2, we wouldn't have as much potential as we have. But nobody at the time asked me where to put Budapest. I'm just glad about its positioning. So here you can see the technologies and the answers which we are offering in these segments. And here you can see for the City of London, where we are working quite intensively together with the City of London now, also because of the upcoming Olympics, where we are really providing quite a few, not only answers, but also physical solutions and equipment. Maybe my favorite slide, because it is here the Budapest head office. What you don't see is the green roof up here, which we inaugurated this summer, where our worldwide CEO came, and we didn't inaugurate it by cutting a ribbon, but by having a watering can there and watering the green roof. When we had here a little city conference, there was one aspect which I actually learned from the politicians. It was Mr. Hutirai from the city of Budapest, when he mentioned these green roofs, because the main green roofs you don't see, because this is from where the picture is being taken, where he mentioned that they are that this green area is so important to reduce these fine particular dust, or what is it, the micro dust, or zapor? Fine dust. Okay, thank you. Feinpartikelstaub in good Hungarian, yeah. So, and of course, all of these green areas, they bind. As we now hear, look, fine dust anchorage. And of course, that they also keep the rainwater and very much heat insulation. And I'm now turning it around. It is cooling. And here in Budapest, you can get degrees 33, 34, 35. I think this year it was even 36 degrees. If we have this green area, which is being watered by our well water, by the way, yeah, at night, and then you have the sun scorching down, it is a very natural way of cooling the building, which you don't have to run through electricity. Why I like to show you this slide is because this was done in 1994, initiated in 1993, and done in 1994. This area, this a little bit later, and the two green roofs, which you don't see. So I say that Siemens was green in Hungary, maybe even before Siemens knew how green it was or should be. And I'm saying this with a lot of pride, because it was me at the time when I was here at my stint as the CFO who initiated that. And this is why I proudly show you that I am also a greenish guy. At the time, they thought I'm crazy. Now they think I'm interesting. So that's how times change. So, looking again at Siemens as an international company and not at our green sites, we also have now photovoltaic little energy plant there, and also for warm water. Those were additions in this year because I only returned last year. So you always have to put something onto the green roof and not just keep it green. So an international thing about Siemens, Siemens Dow Jones Sustainability Index. We have been part of this index for the past 12 years. But being part of something is one thing. Leading the pack for the last 4 years is even better. So within this sector, we have been number one over the past 4 years. Again, a little bit of about our credibility. We have the high score of 97%. Carbon disclosure project. Here I already mentioned the sustainability index, etc. So we're really trying to show that we are providing answers and we're also doing them ourselves. We are setting ambitious targets for the future. So here you can see a number. Let's see how much 40 billion euros will be in dollars or in renminbi or in forints at the time. You can see that is a massive number. We have a target to improve our own resource efficiency by 20% by 2011. This is, I'm not so sure whether this is the right number here. Strengthen the leading position in most relevant sustainability indices. And, of course, this requires research and development. And a part of it, a small part of it, unfortunately, but at least fortunately, a small part is being done here in Budapest, and we will see what the future will bring. Almost my last slide. Successful implementation of sustainable infrastructure requires innovation along 4 dimensions. There might be more dimensions, but we're just showing here 4. And I think this also summarizes some of the things I was able to hear when I was here in the morning and then when I came in later on. So the one, of course, is the technology and the products. And the one is driving costs down. As we spoke with Mr. Teske, is that now we are approaching a time when alternative energies, the production of alternative energies is getting much closer to the set cost as non-alternative energies. So that is driving costs down. At the same time, and of course the one has something to do with the other, it is to increase efficiency and performance, and of course also storage, which is not necessarily our prime field, but of course we're also looking into that. And then thinking out of the box, doing something with our research know-how, developing new opportunities. The other thing is, if you have great technology but you don't have the financing, then as things do cost money, you also should be thinking in that dimension as well. So nowadays it's not so easy that you just walk along and then somebody says, okay, here I have a few €100 million to invest into this and that and the other thing. And I'm afraid that in the future this will be even more challenging. So unlock financing, build revenue models, and also reaching new markets, because only that way we will be not only to sustain but to grow with our sustainability portfolio. There is, and this is, you are the correct audience for this, there are of course political implications. And as you mentioned before, you need to have a regulatory framework, you have to have a legal framework which gives you scope for the next 10, 15, maybe 20 years, maybe as energy prices go up and the costs for the solutions go down, you might be able to do financing within 10 years. Yeah? But it's still a very long time. And for that, to generate funds in jittery times like we have now, and we had jittery times just a few months ago, and I'm afraid we might have them also in a few, well, let's say weeks. Yeah? You have to have this political, legal, and regulatory framework to give people the confidence, yes, this is something where at least I will not lose money. Yeah? And then you also have to create public acceptance. It was also mentioned that in this part of the world, the willingness to do these things is, or the inclination is less than, many of the Greenpeace colleagues here have a German background, but we all know that the German-speaking world, be this Switzerland, be this Austria, be this Germany, and of course the Scandinavian countries, and the Netherlands, etc., have a very strong environmental, they're very aware of the environmental situation. I mean, has nothing to do with Siemens, but if, as long as we don't have proper recycling opportunities here in Budapest, then everything just will move into the same trash can. Yeah? And that is, again, something which is a different aspect. So public acceptance, building consensus, and foster behavioral change, this is what you're initiating. And this slide you already know, and I'm closing with this slide. I don't have to explain it, but yes, you are welcome. Have a look at it yourself. Let us know. Our corporate communications, they can show you what it looks like, and also our 2 other factory sites here in Budapest are also nice and green, and they even show you some green action where things are being manufactured, which you can touch and see and understand how they're either a part of a gas turbine or a steam turbine, or what a transformer means, because those are being manufactured for export here in Budapest. Thank you very much.